Hey, what's going on, my friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you 5 things I think you should know about this paradigm shifting new moon we have here on September 7th, 2021. Number 1, the splitting of worlds. This is something that's been talked about for a long time by a lot of people throughout history. Someone that comes to my mind in particular is a woman named Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon has spent decades perfecting this particular deep hypnosis technique that she took thousands of people through over the course of decades from all over the world. And a lot of these people were able to access, in a sense, their higher self, their soul, and they were coming through with this information that was very similar all across the board. And what they were saying is that we are now, you and me, living in a time when there is a division, a splitting of worlds literally taking place. Where there are, right now the world in a sense is a mixed bag of different vibrational frequencies. And what we're seeing now, what we're starting to see more noticeably than ever before is kind of a clustering of these vibrations. So where you resonate, you're going to start attracting yourself to things, people, situations, opportunities, lifestyle situations, thoughts, beliefs, emotions that are on that same frequency. On the other side of the token, you will start to repel and feel a pushing away, a splitting away from vibrations that are very now incompatible with you. So this all might sound like a bunch of woo-woo, heady mumbo-jumbo, but what I'm saying is you might right now in your life start to notice this push-pull effect, this being pulled towards things that light you up, that excite you, that feel compatible and resonate with your body. And you might feel and might be experiencing a splitting away of relationships, people, jobs, lifestyle situation, old beliefs, these heavier representations of an energy that you no longer carry. And that's why you're being pushed away from it. So you're seeing this probably in your personal life. We're certainly seeing it on a collective scale, and it's just starting to be more noticeable. But the good news is people like you who watch content like this are going to now accelerate themselves into, in a sense, a reality experience that is much more filled with stuff that is compatible with who you actually are, which is a free, sovereign spirit capable of anything. Number 2, a big focus a lot of you might be finding yourselves in right now is, I wrote down, cleaning house. It's a great time to clean house. It's a great time to really set your boundaries and just make a choice. Like, what are you willing to put up with in your life? You probably have found your expectations have, whether you wanted them to or not, have raised. And people, situations, etc., that once you could put up with, you no longer can. The energy is just too off. And you can feel it. You're all sensitive. You can literally feel the dissonance when there's something like a representation of a heavy load in your life. And this new moon is coming in and bringing these things to kind of a head where there is like a separation taking place. So it's a great time to really stand firm in who you are and who you are aspiring to become, and not allow anyone or anything, even your ego in a sense, your fears, to hold you down any longer. And this can be challenging because we're seeing more evidently now the people who are doing the work, people like you, and the people who are not doing the work, the people who are much more identified with their wounded ego in a sense. And there's a lot of fevered egos out there in the world that are in a sense reacting to this new frequency shift taking place. So it can be sometimes difficult to deal with folks and just circumstances in your life that, again, are representative of that old world. But you have the power, always the power of choice in who you want to surround yourself with, the ideas you want to entertain in your mind, the beliefs within yourself you want to buy into. And now's a great time to really step back and ask yourself, who am I? And what do I want? What are my expectations? What needs to go? And what should I call in more of? It's a great time to really reorganize and restructure your entire life, including yourself, around your new, much higher frequency. Number 3, parallel to this, recognition of the splitting of world you might be seeing in your own way and your natural moving away from things that no longer serve. You might be becoming also aware of your true power. Most of us are not aware of how powerful we really are. But not anymore. Now is the time of empowerment and upliftment. And you might be becoming aware of how powerful you are, but also owning it. Being like, yeah, you know what? I am powerful. Now what? Now what do I want to create? This reminds me of a session I had a few weeks ago at one of my retreats, my Sedona retreat. There's this beautiful, wonderful woman named, I won't say her name, but she was a medium and a psychic, and she gave me this free reading, and she was, take it for what it's worth, it really seemed real to me, but she was connecting with my grandmother, my grandmother, who was already crossed over. And my grandmother was coming through and saying, like, what do you want? In fact, she asked me, she put her hand on my heart and said, Victor, what do you want? You've done a lot of work, you've helped a lot of people, what do you want? And I was about to answer something about for like the family, and she goes, not for your family, what do you want? And I was like, And it made me realize I never pray for anything for myself. Because even me, the YouTube guy, still has these old wounds that say I'm unworthy. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve to ask for anything. But I've gotten to this place in my life where I really have stepped into my power, like so many of you right now. And that wounded, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, it's like an old song that needs to just be, like the radio needs to be chucked out the window. It's an old song that is no longer at all relevant. It has no place in my life or in your life. So when she said that and I thought about it, it was like, God damn it, I do deserve stuff. I do deserve to want and have my desires and aspirations fulfilled. So I started setting these big goals and feeling like not only am I becoming aware of my value, my worth, and my power, I'm starting to own it. I'm starting to say, you know what? I expect more of life. I expect more of myself. I expect more of people. Not in this sort of tyrannical, sort of egotistical way, but more like I'm learning my worth and I'm going to start making choices based upon that awareness. And that I talk about myself as merely a metaphor for something I would suspect a lot of you are having happen in your own psyche right now in your own way. And it really is a time to own your power and to do what Brenda Bashar, this guy I listen to, he's an influencer, he says we should always celebrate our victories. A lot of our lack of self-worth comes from the lack of integration of all the things we've done and accomplished in our life. Even you. Look back at the last year. How much have you changed? How much growth have you experienced? You're like a different person. Celebrate that, my friend. Celebrate that. Say, you know what? I am a different person. Now what? Now we're like these free new people in life, and we're powerful, and we're aware of it, and like the world is there. It's ours for the taking. We can be whoever we want. We can create whatever we want. And we finally are waking up to that fact that's always been a truth within every single human being. Number 4, you might be breaking through your own abundance blocks. This is a time, the splitting of worlds is not a bad thing. Even for the folks who are not choosing to upgrade their frequency, they're going to learn lessons in a very accelerated and valuable way on a soul level anyways. There's no good or bad. We're all eternal souls playing this little game. It's like nothing. But the point is, this acceleration it's part of that Part of you waking up to your power and your worth and saying goodbye to the things in your life that you've been allowing to weigh you down is abundance. Whether you have, whether you like are fond of the idea of more money and things or not, abundance is a broad term for the things you want, the things that are naturally appealing to you, want to come into your life. And now is the time where they will. They're going to start forcing their way into your life. But the first thing that needs to happen is they need to move out of your system these abundance blocks. We all have them. In fact, I was talking to my wife today. We were sitting by our fireplace, kind of like meditating in a sense, talking quietly. And I was explaining to her how aware I've been becoming of my own blocks. And for me personally, all these blocks we possess come from different sources. But for me, it was my father. And he was a hardworking man, but my family never really made more money. Like, they never had money in the bank, really. And they're always kind of living check to check. And they're always stressed and kind of arguing and just concerned about money. So even though I've worked my butt off and I have abundance now, I don't feel abundant. I push away a lot of the other abundance that wants to come in because I still feel the same way as kind of my parents felt, which is like we're always stressed, we're always worried about money, we're always clinging. And I've just been aware of like, man, I do that. I do it subconsciously. I do it in my energy. It's like a state of being that I've identified with. But the good news is I'm realizing that and saying, this isn't even me. This is not who I am now. Doesn't even match my situation. And this awareness allows me to make new choices and no longer allow those abundance blocks to dictate my actions. And again, this is just a metaphor for what you might be finding you're experiencing in your own way. What are your beliefs about money, success, abundance? Do you at the core know you deserve it all? If most of us are honest, the answer is no. Hence, the situation is becoming aware of the parts of us, the blockages, the residue of the past in the way of us experiencing our true self, which is of course worthy of an amazing life. We are moving into a completely new chapter of humanity, where for a long time, for thousands of years, even up until now, we've had to survive. We've had to survive. And now we're shifting into this new era where we get to finally live. Live. Play with the world. Play with our life. Create. Experience joy and abundance and happiness and purpose and human connectedness and community. All these things are where we are moving into, but we are coming from. We're kind of like the folks who are in between. My kids, they're not going to know a lot of the stuff that we have to deal with, but me and you, we're like in between. But now the energies are shifting so much. It's time to like let that old scarcity mindset, fear, fight or flight, survival instinct, it's no longer relevant. We get to merge more so with spirit, with higher self, that is always protected, always safe, always abundant, and free. Free to create, free to play, free to laugh, free to trust in the abundant nature of the universe. Number 5, I wrote down and I'll explain the artist's date. There's a really powerful book called The Artist's Way. I believe the author is Julia Cameron. Some of you in the comments are sure to correct me if I'm wrong. But she has this notion of an artist's date. What she means is that our creative energy, and we're all artists, by the way. We're creating our reality. We're creating our life. We're all artists, so let's start there. But the artist's date is a time to nurture our inner spirit, our inner artist, nurture the muse. So you might be feeling a little bit burnt out, a little bit like there's not enough for you to go around, and it's like you just need time to yourself, need time to go within, need time to sort things out in your head, need time to refuel, revitalize, replenish. So this is the artist's date, my friend. It's a great time to take one. Julia Cameron, a very well-known author, she says you need one. You need to take these dates once in a while. You need to take time for yourself. I've been feeling the same way. I was wondering how I'd get through this video because I feel that exact same way, honestly. But it's a great time to schedule in downtime, popcorn and movie time, going and sitting in nature and reading a book and taking a nap by a tree time. And I've learned when I've made myself do this in the past, it's not even, it's time well spent. A lot of us, why we keep going is because our mind says there's all this stuff we gotta do. But when we take time to refuel, we get to come back to that stuff on a full tank with an oil change, ready to freaking rock and roll. We can plow through all of it pretty quickly and bring forth new inspired ideas to plant in our life. So it's a great time to do that. Lastly, it's a great time to anchor in your light. Again, a lot of this new moon is becoming aware of the work we've already done, the degree in which we've already changed, already transformed. And now it's time to really bask in it, to anchor it in to our life, to our body. It's a great time to create your own safe space. There's a lot of peculiar energies, let's say, floating in the breeze. And you're more sensitive and open than ever, like an exposed nerve, full of light and love, but exposed nonetheless. And the world is going through its cleanse more clearly and obviously than ever before. And it's a good time to kind of, to put a crystal grid around your house or whatever, light some sage, declutter, and really create a little sanctuary. And some of you, I know what it's like to, right now I have a home that I can make a big old sanctuary, but I know what it's like to not really have that. I know for a long time, or for a while when I was younger, I lived in this apartment with 5 other guys, and my sanctuary was very limited. It was this little bed with my journal, and that was it basically. I would go into my bed and I would journal, and that was my little sanctuary. I could always come into myself, reconnect with myself. So it's a great time to create that little safe haven for yourself to rest in, your little oasis amidst this crazy world we live in. And when you can take time for yourself and create your safe space, you'll get to become more familiar with the real you who's been knocking on the door saying, hey, I'm here. You want more abundance, freedom, success, happiness, soulmate relationships, health? Let's just beam me up, Scotty. We're ready to go. But we have to take that time and create that space to bring in to our, not just our faith, but our body, our mind, our thinking, our beliefs, our life, the wisdom, the power, and the grace of our spirit. It's a great time to do that, my friend. It's a powerful time. It's a good time to really allow the world to do its thing and just have this trust in the force and the wisdom of life itself. And you get to go and enjoy your life. You've earned it. It's time. What are you waiting for, my friend? With that said, I'm going to bounce. Have an amazing day. Hope this helped you. Much love. Peace.